are listening to the Freeform Rock Podcast with Marc Alden Taylor.
All right, welcome to a new edition of the edition. Well, we're always a new edition every episode because we're weird. But Freeform Rock Podcast, what's up, Lee?
Nothing much except the ceiling, but otherwise I'm not as high as a kite.
Now I got new edition, cool it now in my head. Fuck. All right.
Oh.
All right, we got a guest today, Lee. Who do we have?
We have Brian Davis. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, Lee. Hey, Mark. I thought we were going to do the Bobby Brown album, but no, we're not doing New Edition. So next week.
Next week.
Ew.
Exactly.
And then we could do some, what's that band? The Humpty Hump.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I actually like that song.
My nephew would like that, doing that kind of podcast.
The Humpty Hump podcast? What, Digital Underground. Yeah, that's what
Digital Underground, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I thought they were pretty cool. They were funny.
Yeah, I liked when the song was over and then I didn't go home with the CD.
Hey, Tupac was in that band for a little bit.
Mm.
You ever seen the movie Nothing But Trouble, Lee?
No.
Digital Underground was in that movie.
That's right.
Oh,
Dan Aykroyd, right?
Yep.
Maybe that's why I didn't
Dan
see
Aykroyd
it.
and Chevy Chase and Demi Moore. It was kind of a weird movie, but it
I think I saw
it's like
it.
a cult movie now. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing it in the movies. I go, "What's this fucking shit?" And now I like it. It grew on me.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty good. So we're gonna do blah blah. We're gonna do what's the word. I want to say world for some reason. What's the word by the Fabulous Thunderbirds? And Brian, you picked this record.
I did.
Yay.
Yeah, because one, I love the blues, and that's what really got me into music when I was a kid. My dad was way into the blues, and so one of the bands that he was really interested in was the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and a lot of people only know them from their more popular stuff from the mid '80s.
Yeah.
Starting with like Tough Enough and Powerful Stuff, which was actually on the Cocktail soundtrack with Tom Cruise. But I was into them, my dad was into them way before that. And so like the early stuff from Chrysalis, and that's what we're going to cover today. And so just that really kind of dirty barroom blues, and they're out of Texas, and I just love everything about them. And most people know Stevie Ray Vaughan, but they forget about his older brother Jimmy. And Jimmy was a huge influence on Texas blues and a huge influence on Stevie, and he was way more popular than Stevie Ray Vaughan to begin with, and then of course Stevie Ray took over, and then you have Kim Wilson in this band, who really doesn't get enough credit for his amazing blues harp playing, and we'll definitely talk about that on this album. But really a good band that should be checked out if you're into kind of old school blues and stuff like that.
Yeah, I never heard the older stuff. Like you said, I knew the 80s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The later 80s stuff with Tough Enough and Powerful Stuff. Yeah, I like that stuff. But I never really bought an album or a tape by them. I don't know why. I just didn't. I was like more into the metal glam crap at that time. And I'm still into that metal glam crap right now. But I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I love the blues. I love Zeppelin. I love stuff that has a dirty edge to it, like old Aerosmith and stuff. So I don't know why I didn't listen to more of this band. I guess I had to find my own shit, and if it wasn't on MTV, I didn't know what it was back then.
Sure. I get it, but again, we say this all the time, the foundation of everything that turned into hard rock and metal, it all came from the blues, and we'll get into that with this, and it is definitely, it laid the foundation for everything that kind of evolved and got heavier.
Yeah, because my mom and my next door neighbor are the ones who got me into a lot of stuff. Like my next door neighbor got me into the Pink Floyd and bands like that. My mom got me into Aerosmith, so that was my influences. I didn't have a dad, so I didn't have any friends growing up. So my friends weren't showing me music until I started working at In-N-Out, and then they started getting me into Metallica and stuff like that. So I basically influenced myself by what I heard on the radio or what I saw on MTV.
Yeah, which is pretty common. I mean, that's the thing. We're all influenced by different things, whether it be friends. And for me, it was my parents, because my parents had such a diverse my dad was more into old school soul and Stax and R&B and blues. And then my mom would listen to pretty much everything, Beatles, the Stones, Neil Young, stuff like that. So there was a good mixture. And then eventually, once I got into school, I had that foundation. Then it kind of morphed into, the bluesy hard rock, like you said, Aerosmith and AC/DC, and then got heavier. So.
Yeah.
Right on.
And Lee just was born with his taste.
Yeah.
He influenced himself in the womb.
Well, I had people who knew about good music, and that's why I ended up liking good music, like my brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. And then my friends, sometimes their parents and stuff, listen to stuff. And so that's why I started listening to music when I was about 1 or 2. And I was into the Beatles and the Stones and all of that stuff, and Hendrix and 10 Years After and all that. So when I turned on the TV and I saw the group Bread, I was like, yuck. And then when I saw the Eagles, this was back in 1971, I was like, what's the thing about them? I just walked away from the TV then.
You still say that about the Eagles.
Yeah.
Can't get you to do an Eagles podcast yet.
Yeah, and I want you to forget about it.
Okay, so if you had to choose between Eagles and Bon Jovi, what would you pick?
Shit, the Eagles, of course.
There you go. That's what you should do, Mark. Just give them the death option.
Yeah.
God, come on now. Hey, don't say that shit.
I'll go Lee, Desperado or New Jersey.
There you go.
All right. Well, Desperado is a good album, so I'm cool about that.
You're welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I just get him. I said, well, you could pick a fair whatever convention. I can't even say their name. I said, I'll pick something I like.
Let's not get me pissed off today, okay? Let's not do that today.
What is it? Point, right?
Yeah, Fair Point Convention. Yeah.
I keep saying port. I always want to say port.
That is right.
Point or port?
Port.
Okay.
Port.
Damn it.
Lee Gershman. Yeah.
All right.
When you go to the store, you buy a bottle of port wine, not a bottle of point wine. Ow, this bottle is poking me. That's because you got point wine.
Depends how much you drink. Then it all changes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, boy.
Let's get into this album. It's What's the Word by the Fabulous Thunderbirds. It was the second studio album by the Austin, Texas-based blues rock band, the Fabulous Thunderbirds, released in 1988. Like its predecessor, the album initially sold poorly, but is now regarded as a successful white blues recording. The 2000 CD reissue on Benchmark Records contains 3 bonus tracks, 2 of which were recorded live at Club Coda, Austin, Texas. So that's the background on this album, and it gets 4.5 stars on AllMusic. Billboard didn't rate it, jerks. All right, let's get into this album. So we got the first song, Running Shoes. What'd you think about this one, Brian?
Yeah, so the album gets off to a running start, pun totally intended. Great jangly riff here, very reminiscent to something that Bo Diddley would play. And actually, that was the vibe that Jimmy Vaughn always wanted from his band. He wanted like Bo Diddley on acid. So Bo Diddley always kind of had a certain rhythmic tone to his guitar playing, like almost like a drummer playing a guitar. And then the main riff of Running Shoes basically is that. And then you have Kim Wilson, playing his awesome blues harp, and at different points in the song kind of adds some flavor, breaks up the monotony of that intro riff. But again, this would totally fit a Bo Diddley song back in the 1950s. So the thing about this album, which is very interesting, is actually there's 2 drummers who play on this album on different tracks. So this one is actually Mike Buck, and he has kind of a more in the pocket, feel, and you can tell the difference on each song, and I'll kind of point it out. So Frank Christina, on the other hand, is a bit more jazzy. He's a very, frenetic kind of drummer, kind of like Bill Ward with his playing, and so I'll point that out. But this is a great way to start the album, and I like the that comes from Kim Wilson. It's really a catchy opener.
What do you think about it, Lee?
Well, it's played really well, and I like it, except I think it's a little too repetitive. I don't think it's best as an opening track, and I would have liked to see some variation somewhere in it. But it's still a decent song.
Well, on Wikipedia, it says it's a traditional song by Juke Boy Bonner.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't they didn't write this song, Lee.
Yeah,
that's why
but they still did it.
Yeah, okay. I like it. It's traditional blues with a great groove and rhythm. This is a great opening track. I really dug it. And then we get to the next song, which is You Ain't Nothing But Fine. What'd you think about this one, Brian?
Yeah, so this one, another up-tempo. It's like kind of old school rock and roll. Kind of has a Cajun feel, sort of like New Orleans Zydeco. And part of that feel, I think, comes from the tone of Kim Wilson's harmonica playing. It almost sounds like an accordion, like a heavy accordion. It's just really it's a quick song, gets people up and dancing in the clubs. It's not my favorite track, but, look, it's also less than 2 minutes, too. So it just kind of sort of complements the album, doesn't wear its welcome. And it's also where you kind of get more upbeat drumming. And so this one is actually the other drummer playing. This is Frank Christina. But he didn't get too crazy on one, but it's definitely, he's good at keeping up the pace of the song. So not bad.
What'd you think about it, Lee?
This is a little bit like Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White in the style, sort of Tex-Mex. This could have been a good album opener. It's pretty good.
Explain what that reference means to, because I don't know what that was.
That's a song.
It's a song by who?
Oh, just look it up. Perez Prado did it. I think Jerry and the Harmonic Cats did it. Just find it.
All
Cherry
right.
Pink and Apple Blossom White. Most people know it.
Well, I'm not most people. You know this.
So are most of our other listeners. 90% of the people out there are not like most people.
Well, this is what I was thinking before we started this podcast, because I was trying to get people into Big Head Todd on the Monsters on that For the Love of Music thing that Bob Reed and his wife Megan do. And I did a thing, and I got 2 likes on 6 of the songs I did. And I'm going, you know what? Nobody really wants to open up and listen to things they haven't listened to. And the most likes I got was from probably their hit, Boom Boom Boom.
Mm-hmm. And which isn't their song.
Which isn't their song. And it's like, people, with Lee, I've learned to open up to different genres and different types of groups that I've never heard of. And I wish people would do that in groups. I put things up there to turn people on, because I love sharing music. And I know you do, Brian, and I know you
definitely.
do, Lee. It's and I know I get disheartened. I know you get pissed off when people don't comment on your stuff. I kind of do too. As long as I like likes. So if I get likes, and when nobody likes something, I go, well, this sucks.
Yeah, but you never know. Some people just they click on it and they may dig it. They just maybe not like it. So you put it out there. You never know.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people in the Big Head Todd and the Monsters, because I think they're a very underrated band that need to be heard.
Sure.
Yeah, so I know how Lee feels, because he gets kind of mushy when people don't listen to his stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's some boogie woogie. I just love the vocals. The blues harp is awesome, and it adds so much to the song. Great track. And then we get to the next song, which damn it, I didn't write who picked these songs. Did you pick this one, Brian? Low Down Woman? Okay,
I love it, but I didn't pick it. Yeah.
Okay, so Lee, you picked Low Down Woman. So here's Low Down Woman on the Freeform Rock Podcast.
Stay low down all the time. Low down woman, stay low down all the time. She got a bottle in her hand and main things on her mind. Low down woman won't cook me nothing to eat. All she wanna do is walk the street. She got weight like a devil, moves like a snake, and nothing can stop her. When she don't make it, she's a low-down woman. Stay low down all the time. Well, sometimes I wonder, why do I keep that low-down gal of mine? She's a wine-headed woman, stay drunk all the time. As far as I'm concerned, that gal ain't worth a dime. Yes, she's a money-grabbing woman. When I'm broke, she treat me mean. But when I get my paycheck, she's the sweetest thing you ever seen. Yes, she's a low-down woman, stay low down all the time. Well, sometimes I wonder, why do I keep that low-down gal of mine?
Okay, that was Low Down Woman. Why'd you pick that song, Lee?
I like the song and the guitar tone a lot, and it's one of the better songs on the album. But it's hard for me to think of what to say about it other than it sounds like classic Thunderbirds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a... go ahead, Brian.
Oh, sure. I mean, I got plenty to say about it. This is where you get that kind of dirty barroom, blues that the band, like we said, it's fabulous as, they're just great at. And what's interesting, and I always mention this on the radio show, is again, foundation of heavy rock and music and metal is the blues, not just musically, but lyrically. So a lot of these early blues songs that that inspired the Thunderbirds, you listen to subjects that are near and dear to metalheads' hearts: women, booze, and the devil. And so it was all there. And so you look at Robert Johnson's songs that he wrote in the 30s, same thing. I mean, even Paul Stanley admitted he borrowed heavily for the lyrics from Love Gun from the blues song The Hunter, which Albert King did. I got my love gun loaded and it's ready for you. That's all from The Hunter. And also on this track, brilliant harmonica playing. Kim Wilson, one of my favorite players of all time. His tone is just amazing. And the solo on Low Down Woman is just goosebump inducing. For me, a good blues harp solo is every bit as satisfying as a guitar solo for my ears. I think it's as good as it gets. And if you really like his tone, check out his influences like Little Walter, George Harmonica Smith, Lazy Lester, James Cotton, all those early blues guys, amazing. And then we'll talk about the guitar player, Jimmy Vaughn. He's not flashy guitar-wise on this song, but his straightforward playing really suits the song perfectly. He kind of keeps the rhythm going. And then Mike Buck is drumming on this one and kind of fits that in the pocket style. Yeah, really good pick, Lee.
Yeah, but that's what I have a problem with. Into 3 songs, Jimmy Vaughn has not played a solo.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
yeah, it's different. We're getting there though, which is interesting.
I know, but
yeah.
it's like when I hear blues, I always think of the guitar. I think of the harmonica secondary, and it's all Kim Wilson so far.
Yeah, and that's another reason I like this band is because exactly. So there are bands that are like, you think Albert Collins and B.B. King and Buddy Guy, those guitar bands. But then you had those other blues guys that were Sonny Boy Williamson and Little Walter, and that's where the Thunderbirds kind of have that nice mix. I think it's a nice blend because you will eventually get some Jimmy Vaughn.
Yeah, I was just wondering where he is because I love his guitar playing.
Yeah.
I find that it's all the way throughout the song that the solo doesn't necessarily have to matter, because all the way throughout it you get his guitar tone. So I think he's just it's everything in the song.
Maybe because listening to the blues players like Gary Moore and frickin' Jimmy Page and frickin' Stevie Ray Vaughan and
Jeff Beck,
Albert Collins and stuff like that, I'm used to hearing a lead prominent in a blues song, and this was like tripping me out.
Yeah.
And even in the 80s Fabulous Thunderbirds, Jimmy went off. It's like, what happened? I thought there was going to be a lot of Jimmy on this album. But I like this album. I have no problem with it. It's a really good album. I'm glad I heard it. It's like I put it in my collection on Amazon Prime. So it's really cool.
If you like this one, definitely check out the I think Lee and I talked about this too, the last episode. The first one, Girls Go Wild. That one's terrific as well. Those are, I think they're two best.
And the album after this was Butt Rockin'. How was that one?
Butt Rockin', T-Bird Rhythm. Those are the Chrysalis albums. And then they got more of the mainstream stuff with Tough Enough.
With CBS. They were with CBS?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then we get to the, let's see, now we get to some Jimmy. It's called Extra Jimmys. What'd you think about this one, Brian?
Yeah, so Ask and You Shall Receive. So the last track was kind of the showcase for Kim Wilson. Now it's on to Jimmy Vaughn. He gets an instrumental. He really gets to display his guitar chops on this one. It's kind of like a jazzy bebop feel. And the great part about Jimmy's playing is that he's very traditional with his style. He comes from those old school blues players where it's kind of all about space and feel, meaning that he won't necessarily cram a bunch of notes to make his point. And for the most part, old school blues players really want to make certain notes count. It's kind of quality over quantity. So like your B.B. Kings, your Albert Collins, they were masters at that. And then this is a great song too, because Frank Christina plays his jazzy drumming to the great bass work from Keith Ferguson, his bass is kind of high in the mix on this one. And I think it sounds great. It's a really good song.
Yeah, I remember B.B. King in the U2 movie where he said he doesn't read music. He just goes by feel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I see with Jimmy here. Really cool, man. Here with Jimmy. So what do you think about it, Lee?
This would have been cool to hear on TV20 Dance Party. A great jam and one of the best songs on the album.
So what was TV Dance Party? TV Jam Dance Party, Lee?
TV20 Dance Party was a thing that was on Channel 20 back around the mid-'80s. It was on Saturday night, and you found a whole bunch of slightly middle-aged men and women in their Hawaiian shirts dancing to songs like Rockin' Robin and Eensy Teensy Little Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. And I used to watch it because I thought they were cool. And my mom would walk by and say, they're kind of square, aren't they? But you should have known that.
Wait, this is in the Bay Area, right, Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already told you, because I'm from the Bay Area, too. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, Mark should have known that.
Well, I'm not from the Bay Area.
No, he's from Southern California.
But you probably had something like that. You probably had a channel where there was a guy saying, now we're going to do loop-de-loo, and then he just dances.
TV20 was great because they had all, remember they put all the dogs on there, like between, it was like before the show started, they had the picture of the dogs.
Yeah. That was, man, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked them, and I thought the women looked good in their Hawaiian shirts, and that's kind of why I like to watch it every week.
Yeah, all those independent stations, Channel 20, Channel 36, Channel 44.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Channel 44. I used to watch that way when I was a kid.
Yep.
That was
cable.
One of my favorites. Right on, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to watch Richard Blade down here doing a video on Channel 9 down here.
Oh, there you go.
Do things like that down here. You know who Richard Blade is?
I've heard of him, yeah.
But I should have known it, damn it. That's my fault.
He was a K-Rock DJ down here. And he does like 80 shows. And
that's hip.
He got me into Duran Duran.
Nice.
Yeah,
so you've got your thing.
Yeah. And that was before I had MTV. I think it was Video 1. I think it was called Video 1. And then at night, on NBC, I would have Friday night videos.
Oh yeah, I heard of that. Yeah,
Friday
right
Night
on, man.
Videos is really cool. Did you ever watch that, Brian?
I did, yeah. I do remember that, too.
Remember it had that one guy in there from, what's that guy's name? He was in the movie The Burbs. He was Tom Hanks' best friend. He used to host some.
Oh, yeah. He was the funny guy.
Rick Dukerman.
Yes.
He was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, man. So let's get back on track. So now we get to extra Jimmys. This is what I think about it. Now here's Jimmy. Love the riff to begin. This is a killer blues and bass drums instrumental. Now it's named after Jimmy because it is Jimmy, man. It's fucking rules. I love it.
No, it's a great play on words because Jimmy also means like a condom, so you can be extra condom too. So Jimmy.
Yeah, it was written by Jimmy Vaughn and Keith Ferguson.
Yep, the bass player.
So let's get to the next one, which is Sugar Coated Love, which you picked, Lee. So
yeah.
Here's Sugar Coated Love on the Freeform Rock Podcast.
You ought to see my baby. You know that gal is so fine. She let me in the morning and every night, and she's always on my mind. She got sugar-coated love. Yeah, sugar-coated love. She's a real one, baby. I don't mean baby, she's mine. I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about clothes. I don't have to worry about anything. She's my baby, and goodness knows she got sugar-coated love. Yeah, sugar-coated love. She's a real one, baby. I don't mean baby, she's mine. You can take your pick of the other. Take anyone you may choose. I'm holding on to this baby of mine. 'Cause you got what I can't use, and that's sugar-coated love. Yeah, sugar-coated love. She's a real one, baby. I don't mean baby, she's mine. If you want to know the sugar-coated love is, it's the best love that they got. It's the kind of love make the old baby young and make the North Pole hot, and that's sugar-coated love. Yeah, sugar-coated love. She's a real one, baby. I don't mean baby, she's mine.
That was Sugar Coated Love on the Freeform Rock Podcast. Why'd you pick that track, Lee?
One of the best songs on the album. It has a great, gritty 60s style blues rock vibe. I could imagine hearing this as a little kid.
What'd you think about it, Brian?
That's interesting. So I like the song too. I think it's almost kind of like the brother song to Running Shoes. So that's interesting to me that Lee really likes this one, and he likes Running Shoes, but not as much. So that for me, it's kind of a similar guitar riff. The added percussion with kind of the hand claps kind of add a bit more flavor to Sugar Coated Love, which is cool. It's really just a strong blues boogie song that fits really well in the album. Another great harp solo from Kim Wilson, which for me is always a good thing. And his vocals are a bit echoey. It's kind of like, dare I say, like what Scott Weiland kind of used to do on some of the later Stone Temple Pilots songs, at least the vocal effect. And again, this one also sounds Bo Diddley inspired. And Mike Buck does the drumming on this one because it's pretty straightforward in the pocket.
Yeah, this is a really cool guitar, vocals, hand claps. I think that I couldn't hear the drums over the hand claps until the hand claps stopped. It's like
right. It's interesting.
I think they should have put the drums a little higher in the mix with the hand claps so you could hear both. I think they brought the drum, like I said, I think they brought the drums this to kick ass even more. It's a toe tapper, like Lee would say, and a lot of harmonica on this song, and it's really good. I just want some more Jimmy too. I want him to trade off. It kind of reminds me of Saint Anger, but this is way better. Metallica, Saint Anger, there's no guitar solos, but there's guitar solos on here. So this album, I love this album so far. It's really cool. I'm just not used to a blues album with not much guitar in it. It's just rhythm. So,
it kind of goes back to the early blues, because early, like your Muddy Waters, they didn't have, before they started to get like electric and everything, they didn't have a lot of solos then too. So I think it's a throwback to that early era, which Jimmy Vaughn loved. So yeah, for me, it wasn't a big deal because I was used to it, but I could totally see why it'd be kind of jarring for someone that's not used to it.
Yeah, I need to get that Muddy Waters box set. I've been wanting to get that for years.
Oh yeah, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Little Walter, all those old classic guys. Those are must-haves.
Yeah, I came in with the electric blues age, so it's like weird to hear. I love Huey Lewis when he does harmonica, but he also has Chris Hayes play a solo. Not Chris Hayes. What's that guy's name? Damn it, I can't remember his name right now. The Kid. They call him the Kid in Huey Lewis in the News.
Yeah. Is it Johnny Cola?
Yeah, no. It is Chris Hayes, isn't it? Johnny Cola is the saxophone player.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's Chris Hayes. I'm right.
So, of course, Huey Lewis was the harp player in Thin Lizzy.
Yeah. I learned that on a podcast. I was like, damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's on Live and Dangerous.
Oh, shit. I have that album, too. I haven't heard it much. I've been listening to a lot of Thin Lizzy. I've been listening to the Black Rose, and really good album. And
Live and Dangerous is amazing.
I need to listen to that more because Dr. Fuck has been raving about that for a long-ass time.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get to the next song, Last Call for Alcohol. What'd you think about this one, Brian?
Yeah, get another instrumental, very kind of traditional jazzy blues, kind of in the vein that something like I was mentioning, Little Walter, he would have played back in the 50s, which he was a huge influence on Kim Wilson's playing and his style. It's interesting, the tone of the harmonica on this track is a bit more melancholy. The backbeat isn't traditional, but it's kind of jazzy, and this I think why is Frank Christina is playing drums on this track. It's a nice middle of the album type of track that kind of keeps the flow going.
Did they ever get like a drummer that just played with them all the time? Or
yeah, after this album, Frank Christina became the main drummer. So the jazzier type of drummer became the main guy.
Okay, I just wanted to find out about that. It's good to have like one drummer.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. Maybe they probably recorded at different times. And what's interesting, it's almost like they trade off tracks. It's like one of the other, I don't know if they sequenced it that like that on purpose, but it's interesting.
Maybe they were auditioning.
I don't know.
So what'd you think about this song, Lee?
Oh, well, this is like the song Night Train. I'm sure the Ventures could have done a good version of this. It's one of the best songs on the album. I like the cool groove to it.
I think the drums kick ass. I still think they need to be a little bit higher in the mix. And Jimmy is playing. I love it. Cool blues lead. And Kim Wilson is showing off on this album on his harmonica, blues harp. It's really cool. I really dig his blues harp. I just want a little bit more mixture. But this is a great song, though. I loved it. And then we get to the next song, which is Jumpin' Back. No, The Crawl.
The Crawl, yeah.
So what'd you think about this one, Brian?
Yeah, this one's a total, it's a brand new dance called The Crawl. So it's like a total 1950s, kind of like a sock hop. And for those that aren't over 80 years old, that means dance. So it's kind of a style, that's a style sort of song.
Watch movies.
Oh, that's true. You watch Back to the Future, stuff like that. Yeah, it's a great upbeat song, very old school rock and roll, kind of reminiscent to Shake Your Tail Feather from Ray Charles and the Blues Brothers. Plus, you kind of get that call and response, which would work great at a concert or a dance. Crawl. That's great. And then a great guitar solo from Jimmy Vaughn on this one. So Mark gets that, and it's a fun song.
What'd you think about it, Lee?
This is hot. I could imagine it done by a cartoon group in a cartoon show or something.
The Archies?
or something like that. It has an old-timey rock blues thing about it that I really dig a lot.
Yeah, like Brian said, I think it's cool 50 style here. Love Kim's vocals and a lead, like you said. I said, fuck yeah, that's what I've been waiting for, more of Jimmy's playing. Love it. It's a great song, man. I was digging this song. I played it twice, I think.
Cool.
And then we get to the next one, which you picked, Brian, Jumpin' Bad. So here's Jumpin' Bad on the Freeform Rock Podcast. That was Jumping Bad. Why'd you pick that track, Brian?
Yeah, this is my second favorite song on the album, and it's another instrumental. There's a lot of instrumentals on this. This is a barn burner. So, like, in the early days, they would open up their sets with this song just to kind of get the crowd going. Totally, it's a showcase for Kim Wilson's amazing harp playing. Drumming's also awesome on this from Frank Christina. He has like those, the sort of fills that work really well for this song. But man, Kim Wilson just owns this song. Great blues harp solo. It does as much for me as a guitar solo, and this kind of proves it. And influence-wise, definitely Little Walter and the songs that he did called Off the Wall and Juke. And this is also very much like James Cotton and his song Midnight Creeper. So check out those songs. And if you like that, you'll hear it all over Jumpin' Bad.
So what'd you think about it, Lee?
This is kind of like the Siegel Schwall Band.
Oh, yeah.
Nightclub dance song. It's spicy, and I dig it.
Well, I don't know who the Schwiegel Swan Band is. Can you tell me who that is, Lee? Brian did.
I've heard of them.
They do some hot stuff that sounds like this. I'll give you a link. They're from, I think, originally Chicago or something. And
right.
One of the guys, Corky Siegel, he did a song and he would sing it like I am your getaway man. Dun, 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 dun. Catch me if you can. And that made me get into my style, like, oh, you better talk to me. I don't wanna feel like I'm weird. You know what I mean? Kind of like that.
Yeah.
So they were a group that I liked. I'll have us do a review of their album one time. So then that way you'll know.
Another great band from like the 60s, if you're into kind of the evolution of the more modern, the Paul Butterfield Blues Band, their debut.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely
I've heard
amazing.
of them. I haven't listened to them.
Yeah, that one and East West are terrific.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Lee, when we do blues albums, Brian is our man, right?
That's right.
That's right.
I'm also that too. You're also, Mark, really cool when it comes to blues from people who didn't start it, but are like second generation. So you're good at that.
Or third generation.
Or fourth.
Yeah.
Or fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what real cheese is, but you sure know what Velveeta tastes like. Yum, yum.
Oh, God. I only like Velveeta if I mix it with cheddar with nachos. That's about it.
Okay.
Velveeta's trash cheese to me.
I know.
I'd rather have steak than Velveeta.
Being fun. Yeah.
There you go.
I hear you.
All right. I think Kim does some kick-ass blues harp on this track. Freaking killer song. I like it a lot. And then it didn't need a guitar on this one. Really good.
No,
I enjoyed this one a lot. And then we get to the next one, Learn to Treat Me Right, which you picked, Brian. So your songs are right in a row. So here's Learn to Treat Me Right on the Freeform Rock Podcast.
I'm on the ball on my knees, raise up my right hand. Trying to tell you, baby, trying to get you to understand. You got to learn to treat me right. You got to learn to treat me better. All we do is buzz and fight. I can't go out at night without you getting in my face. If you can't do better, you got to move to another
That was Learn to Treat Me Right. Why'd you pick that one, Brian?
Well, this is my favorite song on the album, and just a great traditional up-tempo, boogie blues song that I just adore. And again, amazing harmonica tone. The vocals just work really well with this type of song. Great frenetic drumming, blistering harp solos, and Jimmy and Keith kind of keep the backbeat just so tight so that Kim can just do his harp solos all over. And this is why I love the blues. It's got such a killer groove. Again, you can see how the blues evolved into rock and roll, later hard rock and metal. I mean, really, if you listen to this track, and instead of like the harp solos, you had like Eddie Van Halen playing guitar solos, while David Lee Roth kind of did his thing with the scat vocals and Alex and Mike's backbeat. You basically have a hard rock song. And then listen to the Full Bug or Ice Cream Man. That's how it evolves. It's really the foundation from the blues. And I love this song.
Or frickin' Stay Frosty.
Or Stay Frosty. Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, what'd you think about it, Lee?
This is one of the best songs on the album. It sounds like old Rolling Stones. It's great.
Yeah, this song rules. I liked it. He said he did a lot of like different harmonica solos in this album. I was thinking, man, if Jimmy could play a solo there, and then Kim could go there, and then it could have made it a little bit longer, and just both of them, like, you could have Kim play the harmonica solo, and then Jimmy plays off of that. I thought that would have been cool.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. So part of that, they do live. I mean, you can definitely check out YouTube videos from the early days. They have full concerts, and I think this is more like, because it's an album, they're probably going for like those traditional 2.5 minute, 3 minute songs. Whereas live, they kind of stretch out a little bit.
Yeah, usually blues bands will stretch out you got a 30-minute version of Dazed and Confused.
Well, yeah, and then you started getting the jam bands. Of course, like the Allman Brothers are probably the biggest, obvious influence.
Those are the jam bands I like. I don't like the Grateful Dead.
I love the Allmans.
I love the Allmans too. We haven't done an Allman Brothers album, Lee.
We could do the Grateful Dead live album with a 25-minute version of Dark Star.
Okay. Yeah, I really like this song. It was really cool. I was just thinking, man, in my head, I could hear a solo here. I could hear Kim go here. And probably live, they do that. It's really cool. Yeah. And then we get to the next song is I'm a Damn Good Man If You Give Me a Chance. What did you think about this one, Brian?
Yeah, this one's an interesting one. It's kind of like jazzy blues, but it's got a lot of funky soul to it. I can totally see James Brown doing a song like this. The drumming, the guitar is very reminiscent to early James Brown, and this is a very good song. Kind of gets buried a little bit in the album, but it's a terrific track, and Jimmy kind of gets to show off his guitar chops on this one. He makes every note count. It's a great track, and also the bass work from Keith Ferguson's terrific, and you get the jazzy drumming from Frank Christina. Hit me!
Yeah, the bass on this album is really freaking great.
Yeah, good stuff.
I love it. And then what do you think about it, Lee?
Great song. Great drumming and guitar work and everything. This is like an old blues session. It's fantastic.
Yeah, some nice guitar work on this album, and I love the beat and the rhythm. Jimmy is rocking this one out. Freaking great track. And then we get to track 11, which is Dirty Work. What did you think about this one, Brian?
Yeah, this is another traditional kind of low-down, gritty blues song, very much like Buddy Guy, like what he would do. Jimmy's tone is a bit more echoey, which sounds great, and it's different. And theme-wise, a woman did Kim wrong, and if you listen to enough blues music, that's a common theme. And this is another good deep cut, worked really well with the flow of the album. And great guitar work from Jimmy, especially on the solo. So Mark gets that. It's very Buddy Guy-esque. So always check out Buddy Guy. He's terrific. And since it's kind of more of a laid-back pocket number, it's Mike Buck doing the drumming.
Mike Buck, cool. What did you think about it, Lee?
I could imagine the Animals could have done a great version of this.
Good call.
Yeah, the song and the tone are awesome.
Yeah, this is some, like Brian said, some dirty blues here, and guitar. I love the Jimmy solo, fucking killer. I love this song. Rick, I think this is one of my favorites because Jimmy just really rocks it. I love this album, man. It's great. I think I'm gonna try to find it on vinyl. I probably can't because it's probably like $200 because all this old stuff is like very rare unless you go on Discogs, and sometimes they send you a broken record.
Yeah, I mean, I originally my dad had all these on cassette, and then eventually they reissued them on CD. So I haven't seen them on vinyl at all. If you can find it, definitely pick it up. But I would, as Lee and I say, get this one and the first one. I think you'll really dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get to the last track on the album. That's enough of that stuff. What do you think about this one, Brian?
This is a great way to end the album. Pretty much. I mean, there is another track after this. That was on some later releases, but we'll get into that. This is just a great old barroom boogie, kind of reminiscent to Learn to Treat Me Right. And again, I don't think Kim Wilson gets enough credit for his vocal style because it really works well for this band. You know, he's not a power singer like B.B. King or Bobby Blue Bland, but you also have to consider he's also playing the harp in addition to having to sing. So he's definitely got a set of lungs and he's got great breath control. So this song would fit right in a small blues club. You know, you just show up, you know, some Friday night and it's really good stuff.
What'd you think about it, Lee?
This is also great. It reminds me of Low Down Woman.
Yeah.
The middle part cooks. Really great.
All right. So what was the last track, Brian?
So on some of the albums, it's Los Fabulosos Thunderbirds.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. In fact, I thought it's weird because that last song, That's Enough of That Stuff, didn't seem like it was the last song. And I thought, what happened?
Yeah, I have it written down. I did do it, but on Wikipedia, it doesn't show you the 13th song, but I did a review of it. So
yeah. So some like I remember my cassette or my dad's cassette had it, and then I guess some later reissues removed it. It's a novelty track, and I can see why it was kind of pulled from later reissues, but it basically sounds like a promotion of like a Spanish-speaking radio station. It sounds completely different than anything on the album. It's super short, but it doesn't take anything away. It's just kind of weird and fun.
But I like it a lot. I think it's hip, and fun, and a good way to finish an album in a non-normal way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I said this is weird ending, but cool. Spoken Spanish with blues. That's freaking cool.
Yeah,
it's
he's got the
Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Sunday, Saturday.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. So that was our review of What's the Word by the Fabulous Thunderbirds from 1980. You guys should check this out because Brian got me into this album, and now I want to go check out more Fabulous Thunderbirds besides the ones I already knew, Tough Enough and the other one. So, Brian, tell us what you do. Give us your promotion.
Okay. So yes, I of course have a podcast, except it's a movie podcast. It's called Damn Good Movie Memories, and so we just do different movies every week. It's all random. It's all from my DVD collection. So I have at least 40 years worth of movies if I do it once a week. So check it out. We have a good time. And then I also have a radio show. So every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, you can hear me basically playing Fabulous Thunderbirds and other blues guys, and then also the hard rock bands that were influenced by the blues, your Aerosmiths, your AC/DC, Zeppelin, Deep Purple, all those bands, UFO. Like I'll play those no matter what. And then if you're in the chat room, like Mark shows up and Samuel Wetz, they have tremendous recommendations, and if I've got it on my hard drive, I'll play it. So it's a lot of fun. So check out thatmetalstation.com.
Yeah, I was trying to get Lee in there this week, but he has a hard time on his phone.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
We should dig I think he'd dig it.
Use your laptop, Lee. It plays perfectly on a laptop.
Yeah, it's not working right now.
Oh, that sucks.
So you can always download the TuneIn app if you wanted to as well.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be in the chat room. Like my parents listen every week, and they do it that way.
Yeah, you could go on the TuneIn app and then go to the thatmetalstation.com and go to the chat room and listen to the TuneIn app at the same time as chatting.
Sure. All right.
That's what I used to do with Bushy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I just go on the computer if I'm home, like I do. With
a lot of your buddies on that station. You got Bushy, Ralph Vieira's on it, so it's a fun station. Metal Mike.
Yeah, Ralph Vieira, man, he's been out sick the last few weeks, man.
Yeah.
Prayers to him and good vibes or whatever you guys do.
Sure.
He's a great guy, man. Okay, let's get into our tracks of the week. Lee, you picked Magic Sam, All of Your Love. That was a really cool track. I listened to it today.
Love Magic Sam.
I never heard of this. I like Lee, and I like you, Brian. You guys give me shit I never heard. So
Yeah,
I always
I'm
like
going to have to give you an email with all 40 of the song and group references that I mentioned today.
Yeah.
That you don't
definitely
know.
check out Sam's Boogie. Like that's on YouTube, and it's so killer. He got such a good tone, and on that track, he's playing someone else's guitar, and he's playing it like it's like it's his. So Magic Sam,
yeah.
he died way too young.
And then Brian, you gave me Albert Collins, Too Tired. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, if you check out Ice Pickin', all of his Alligator Record stuff is great, but Ice Pickin' is his first with them from 1978. A lot of people discover, I did too, from Adventures in Babysitting. He's the guy in the blues bar that they show up in when they're running away from the.
Oh yeah, that's him.
So ain't nobody leave this place without singing the blues. That's Albert Collins. So
Oh nice.
total tone, he's awesome. He's the master of the Telecaster. I love Albert Collins.
Yeah, man. So I just hope when I buy these records that it at least goes to the family or the person. That's some.
Well, he died a long time ago, but yeah, that's I would think so. I mean, the Alligator Records is a great like independent blues company that they've been around since the early '70s, and they definitely have Ice Pickin' on vinyl. I think you'd dig it.
So I know Muddy Waters, so he died broke, didn't he?
No, I think he had a resurgence because of Johnny Winter in the 70s. He kind of came back. But yeah, some of the guys, they got screwed over. I mean, like Willie Dixon, like all those Zeppelin songs, it took him suing them to get credit. But, Whole Lot of Love was a song called You Need Love that Muddy Waters did. So, I mean, go listen to You Need Love. It sounds exactly like what Zeppelin did. I love Zeppelin, but look, it all came from the blues guys.
Yeah, the blues always took from other blues artists anyway, so it was kind of a tradition.
Well, some of it, it really started way, way back when, like that, kind of the old traditional songs, those hymns and things like that. But it evolved. But yeah, and that's, but the rock guys were really, the guys in the '60s, your Yardbirds, your Eric Claptons, your guys like that really, the Stones, they allowed these guys who kind of been toiling away to go tour in Europe because everyone was discovering them then, and then the people here just didn't appreciate them because they weren't on radio.
It's like this country doesn't appreciate anything until it goes to Europe for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird.
Jimi Hendrix.
Hendrix. Yeah.
He's big in Europe, not big here for a while until freaking Eric Clapton loved him. There's a story about Eric Clapton. He made him a left-handed guitar, and then he was going to give it to him, but he passed away. He was like all sad about that. And then
the thing, Hendrix used to play with like Little Richard. He used to play with a lot of those blues guys too. So yeah.
And then freaking they tagged his statue in Seattle, jerks.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I get into a newer blues band from Colorado called Big Head Todd and the Monsters. I end it with Bittersweet, but we actually end it with Lee's song of the week, Coffee Groove, which is a cool instrumental, Lee.
Oh, cool! Right on.
Nice.
I was drinking. I forgot to send it to you, Brian. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'll hear it on the show.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, Brian, thank you for coming on again, man. We really appreciate your knowledge.
Oh, anytime. I have a blast with you guys, and I always appreciate. Fun. Oh, thanks, Lee. And I really appreciate that you guys are open to new music or different types of music and music that maybe not in your wheelhouse. And I think that's what's really fun about the Freeform Rock podcast.
Yeah, we do anything except country.
Yeah,
it's country
only
rock,
because I'm pushed into it.
You're not pushed into it. You're happy. You're happy, Lee.
Oh,
you get to pick albums that nobody would pick.
Happy.
You go on other people's podcasts, they pick freaking albums you don't even want to talk about. And I let you pick.
Yeah.
You pick an album every other week. That's yours. And I tell you to pick what you want. You keep asking me, hey, what do you think about this? I said, Lee, pick what you want. I don't care.
Sometimes I like a little interaction.
Just a little.
Just a little love. Well, all right. Here's our tracks of the week: Magic Sam, All Your Love; Albert Collins, Too Tired; and Big Head Todd and the Monsters, Bittersweet. And until next week, Lee, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Later, Brian.
Later, man.
Can it be mine?
wait. I had a chill this morning, too tired to shake. I got a good poker hand, too tired to win. I can hear my baby knocking, too tired to let her in. I'm tired. Yeah, 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 I'm tired. Too tired. Too tired for anything. Too tired to walk, too tired to run. I can hear my baby call, I'm too tired, too tired, too tired. Yes, I'm tired. I'm tired. Too tired for anything. Prosperity, tired of luck, sitting on the pen, I'm too tired to get up, I'm tired. I declare, I'm tired. Too tired, too tired for anything. I'm tired, baby.
Morning light fills the room and rise. She pretends Said I know we don't talk about it, we don't tell each other all the little things that we need. We work our way around each other as we tremble and we, as we tremble and we bleed, as we tremble and we, as we tremble and we bleed. It's bittersweet, more sweet than bitter, bitter than sweet. It's a bittersweet surrender. It's bittersweet, more sweet than bitter, bitter than sweet. It's a bittersweet surrender.
You have just listened to the Freeform Rock Podcast. All music played on the Freeform Rock Podcast belongs to its owner. If you like it, go out and buy it. Get your music on Amazon, iTunes, or at your local record store. Support what you love. Support the artist by seeing them live. Purchase their music. The Freeform Rock Podcast is not affiliated with any of the artists or music that we play. Thank you for listening to the Freeform Rock Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode. Until next time, stay free and rock on.